So, are we truly prepared for a reality that is crafted, literally pixel by pixel and word by artificial intelligence? I mean, think about it. In just the last few years alone, we've witnessed the absolutely unprecedented, explosive rise of generative AI. We are actually at a point right now where machines are creating text, images, and audio that are virtually indistinguishable from genuine human creation. It's thrilling, it's a little terrifying, and it is undoubtedly reshaping our entire world.
Hello and welcome to this explainer. I am so incredibly excited to guide you through this material today. We are going to go on a really profound journey together, starting all the way down in the technical foundations of how these AI brains actually work, and then we're going to climb all the way up to the heavy, real-world ethical dilemmas that they present.
Okay, let's dive right into our agenda for today. We can think of our mental map for this explainer as four main phases: the what, the how, the wow, and ultimately, the whoa. We'll be hitting decoding artificial intelligence, inside the AI brain, the productivity revolution, the dark side of AI, and finally, the alignment problem.
Section 1. Decoding artificial intelligence. Let's start by laying down a really strong foundation here. What exactly is generative AI? Well, it's a fascinating subfield of artificial intelligence. You see, unlike traditional AI, which is mostly built to just analyze existing data or maybe predict certain outcomes, generative models are actually designed to create. By learning the underlying patterns, the structures, and the relationships from absolutely massive data sets, these deep neural networks can produce entirely new outputs. We're talking beautifully written essays, photorealistic images, or even fully functional software code. And often, it all starts from just a simple, natural language prompt. Section 2. Inside the AI brain. We hear the term neural networks thrown around a lot, so let's actually peer inside the black box. The choice of neural architecture completely dictates how an AI thinks. First, you have the multi-layer perceptron. This is your classic, basic feed-forward network. It's powerful, sure, but it really struggles with super complex data like high-res images. Then we have recurrent neural networks, or RNNs, and their advanced cousins, LSTMs. Now these are brilliant because they have a built-in memory loop, making them absolutely perfect for sequential data like time series or text. But my favorite might actually be generative adversarial networks, or GANs. Think of a GAN as a relentless game of cat and mouse between an art forger and a detective. One neural network tries its best to generate a fake image, and the other tries to catch the forgery. They compete over and over again until the forger gets so incredibly good that the generated data is perfectly photorealistic.
As generative AI kept evolving, two specific architectures really took over the modern landscape. On one side, we have diffusion models. These are the engines behind visual and multimedia powerhouses like DALL-E and Midjourney. On the exact opposite side, we have autoregressive models. These are what drive large language models like ChatGPT, and they work by predicting text sequentially. They are quite literally guessing the most logical next word over and over again, based on vast amounts of internet-scale data.
To really wrap our heads around this, think about how these two different models process the exact same concept of a calculator. A diffusion model visualizes the concept. It renders the buttons, a screen, and lighting to create an actual image of a calculator. Meanwhile, an autoregressive model explains it, generating a highly coherent conversational text description of what a calculator does. They are processing the exact same concept, right? But their internal thinking formats are fundamentally different.
Now for the wow phase. Section 3, the productivity revolution. Let's shift gears and look at how this explosive growth is changing our daily work. If you look at recent research from automation platforms like Zapier, the sheer volume of AI tools out there is just staggering. But we can categorize them pretty clearly. Chatbots are handling advanced reasoning and coding. AI-powered search engines, like Perplexity, are providing deep, synthesized research rather than just handing you a list of blue links. In the video generation category, it is mind-blowing. Tools like Runway and Google Veo3 are rendering cinematic footage entirely from scratch. Imagine just typing a prompt like, generate a short AI video for me, 9:16 of 20 sec, and boom, you instantly get a high-quality, vertical video perfectly tailored for social media. Orchestrating all these models together is sparking a true productivity revolution.
And let's be really clear here. These aren't just isolated, fun little toys. They are being integrated directly into dynamic production workflows across the board. Whether it's an AI agent drafting multi-channel marketing campaigns, a coding assistant debugging complex software, or generative models discovering entirely new molecular structures for drug development and healthcare, AI is augmenting human capability at a scale we've literally never seen before.
But, as with any major revolution, we have to confront the shadows it casts. We are now entering the whoa phase of our explainer. Section 4, the dark side of AI.
So, the crucial point to remember here is that AI models are really only as objective as the data they are trained on, and, well, our human data is notoriously flawed. For instance, when a model like Stable Diffusion is prompted with the word doctor, it notoriously defaults to a male figure, but when prompted with nurse, it generates a female figure. This viscerally demonstrates algorithmic bias. Because these models ingest vast amounts of historical internet data, they can so easily perpetuate and even amplify harmful gender, racial, and societal stereotypes if they're left unchecked.
Then, of course, there's the massive, ongoing debate around intellectual property. Take the story of illustrator Holly Menger. Back in 2022, she discovered that a generative AI model had been trained specifically on her portfolio. This effectively allowed anyone to instantly generate new artworks that flawlessly mimicked her unique personal style. It raises some incredibly heavy questions. What actually constitutes fair use? Are these models infringing on copyright by using artist data for training? And at the end of the day, who actually owns a machine-generated artwork? Right now, our legal and ethical frameworks are really struggling to keep up.
We also have to impartially look at the very severe dangers of malicious AI use. We're already seeing highly personalized AI-generated phishing attacks that are virtually impossible to distinguish from legitimate emails. In the political sphere, the mass generation of fake news and highly convincing deepfakes of public figures severely threatens to distort elections and manipulate public opinion. But perhaps the most horrifying statistic from SynCity AI's research is this. 96% of deepfakes online are non-consensual sexual content, and 99% of those target women. This technology is actively being weaponized to perpetuate gender-based violence.
Which brings us to our final and perhaps most existential concept today, Section 5, the alignment problem. How on earth do we keep these incredibly powerful systems tethered to human values, safety, and truth?
Let's look at how this builds into an ongoing, basically daily battle between developers and users. To make AI safe, creators use a technique called reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF, to build ethical guardrails. But here's the catch. AI models are often described as stochastic parrots. They don't actually understand morality, they just predict text. For example, in one well-known exploit, a user asked the AI to first complain about its own rules in a moralizing rant. By doing that, the user successfully tricked the system into breaking its own guardrails and generating profanity-laced, unfiltered content. It's a constant, never-ending game of whack-a-mole for developers.
Which really leaves us with this final provocative thought. We've seen that these models are essentially black boxes. I mean, even the engineers who build them cannot fully explain how the AI arrives at a specific output or decision. So, if the creators themselves don't fully understand the inner workings of this immensely powerful technology, how heavily should we really trust it to manage our healthcare, run our financial markets, or inform our democratic elections? It's the ultimate dilemma of the generative AI era, and it's one we are all going to have to navigate together. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll see you next time.